My name is Nick Hayes. I'm in Yorkshire, the UK, and I'm known as the last DJ, producing music
Oh,
all the time, hopefully. So,
nice to meet you. Thank you for this interview. Thank you for answering some questions.
great.
And we're
I
gonna
look forward to it.
we're gonna start now. So you are in the city called Yorkshire, right? In
I'm in
about 2 hours.
oh, right, I'm in a place, county called Yorkshire, but the actual place where I live is called Wakefield.
Oh, okay.
So the
hmm
nearest city will be Leeds. The biggest city
hmm
will be Leeds, but we're 200 miles north of London.
Oh, nice.
So
hmm
we don't always get the best weather, but it's still great. It's a great place to live. Nice, enjoyable place to live.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good. Yeah, so I'm gonna start asking some questions, okay? And I always feel free to talk more about some
Sure,
uh, points that you like to share with us.
of course.
So you started producing techno music after your retirement. And did you always have this dream before? Have you always had this dream, or it came years after, or it's always been your dream? How did this started?
Well, I'll go back. I'll go back to when I was 55 years old, and it started with me
Mm-hmm.
doing a business degree at university. I went back to university when I was 55. I was still working, and I completed that degree when I was 59, and it completely changed my life. I felt I could actually do anything, achieve anything, do anything, and so it made me think about my future and about retirement. And I thought, when I retire, I'm going to start to make music. I always enjoyed music. I always listened to a lot of music, and I was a terrible DJ. So I decided that I'd be better off trying to make music rather than trying to mix music. And so when I was 59, I started to play with software to start making music, and I got some very good reactions. Back all that time ago. And one of the
Mm-hmm.
major things that started me to get on my journey to produce music was there's a very large DJ company called Serato Studio. Serato Studio makes software for DJs, and they started to develop music production software. And they had a competition, and I entered that competition at 59, and I was one of the winners. So that was just how it all started. So I won software, and they sent me a message saying you've got to continue making music. So it all started from winning one competition against all the other DJs that entered. So that's how just inspired me to continue. So it was inspirational
Oh,
in some
this is
respects.
amazing.
Yeah.
hmm
So
And the interesting, yes.
no, so
Yeah, one of the most interesting.
yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that was how my journey started, really, because Serato
hmm
Studio, you had to produce 1 minute worth of music, and I was one of the winners, and I thought, well, it must be good because I'm one of the winners. They didn't know who I was. I just submitted it, with my email address,
hmm
and that was it. So yeah, and that inspired me to think about doing it more and more, to do a lot
hmm
more work.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I was gonna say, not only the software, but you also mix the sounds of nature and sounds of anything together with your music. How do you do this? Tell us more about your mixes and how you blend. I think the thunderstorm is one of my favorites, and it's just fascinating how you do it. And
Which is
can you
that one?
tell
Did you like? Which one did you say? The one with
the
Thunderstorm? Yes. That
yes.
was terrible. That
Oh,
was that was in my back garden, and
oh,
it
I
was
love that one.
yeah, it was in my back garden, and it was sunny. So I went outside.
Mhm.
I got the two dustbins, set up my synthesizer, my microphone, my recording software, and after about 15 minutes, it started to rain a little bit. I thought I'll ignore it; it doesn't matter. And then it started to thunder and lightning. It all got caught live on the microphone. And it just really, I thought, what's going to happen here? Am I going to get struck by lightning? Is my DJ set going to get blown up? And so I literally had to panic and rush and pack up. But I didn't realise how loud the thunder and lightning was until I got inside. But I've been playing for quite a while before it happened. So when I got inside, I decided to boost all the sounds of the thunderstorms and all the lightning. So I increased the volume so it gave it more effect. But the actual video was very dark because it suddenly became very dark and cloudy and very mystical and a bit frightening, to be honest, when it had been so sunny. So it was a surreal experience. It was just great to do it. It was just great. Unexpected because the forecast wasn't rain, or thunderstorms. So it's just loads of fun.
Amazing. Mm-hmm. And what was the most challenge moment that you faced throughout your DJing career, your career as a producer? What were the challenges for you?
The challenges, one of the main challenges was to believe in myself, that somebody would actually like my music, that somebody would want to play my music. And you have a lot of self-doubt when you start creating music. You don't think music's good enough. And so when I started to create music, and people said it was good, I still doubted it then. So you've got to have faith in yourself, and you've got to do it just for yourself sometimes as well. You've got to do it just to enjoy it for yourself. But it's nice when people say they enjoy it. Nice say, can I buy the music? Where can I get music from? So self-doubt, and I think self-doubt affects everybody who's creating something that can be questioned by everybody else. But I don't have any self-doubt at all now. That's all gone. I just enjoy what I'm doing. I just get stuck into it. So you've got to believe in yourself, but also just enjoy yourself. Don't take yourself too seriously. And also just do it for fun, because that's how it starts for me. I did it for fun. I didn't think, my videos would get 3 million views. I just wanted to just enjoy myself. So biggest challenge, just, don't doubt yourself. Just start playing. So.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And what was the most emotional moment in your career so far as a producer, DJ?
Well, I can speak, very directly about that because I was at home with my wife, and she was actually on the internet, and it flashed up on her video screen saying, "This is a newspaper article about Nick Hayes." And she says, "Somebody's written a newspaper article about you." And I had no idea somebody had done it. And she clicked on it, and it was an article about, my music and what I'd done. And they'd just taken all the information from the internet. So it was quite surreal to see an article on the internet about you, which I'd not taken part in, but it was a fantastic article. It was great. I loved it. So it's quite emotional to read about myself, And since then, there's been 10 or 20 articles, but a lot of them now, they ask me they interview me as well. So that was very emotional to see somebody writing, Nick Hayes has changed the internet, or Nick Hayes has the influence we want. So very emotional it was, because my wife saw it first. And my wife doesn't like my music, by the way. So it's quite funny to say, somebody's written something about you. So it's very funny indeed. So very emotional as well, because I never thought somebody would write about my music. So.
Thank you. And what's one advice you would give to new artists? And one thing that is super interesting is that you built something amazing, which is a solid fan base. You have a super loyal fan base. And what's your advice to the artist? And what would you recommend to build that solid fan base?
Well, the best advice to give to people is, don't get too involved in the technical side. It's always about the end result of the music. It's not about understanding what every single, piece of software does, or whatever piece of technical equipment does, because you'll learn that on the way. It's completely about the end result. And if you get to the end result by breaking the rules or by doing things differently, just do it, because it'll just make things easier. You've got to think about the result. My biggest track was a complete mistake, because I've got a track called Techno Miniature Pony Rides. And I was thinking I'd make a track with some drums in. And I rested my hand on the keyboard by mistake. And it created this drum sound that was very fast. And I went, right, I'm going to record that now. And it was a complete mistake. And I didn't, it just happened. So it's always about the end result. And a lot of people study music, which is great, but you can learn a lot just by picking up the synthesizer or computer and just having a go. So that's one of the things I say about the end result. Don't worry about, people ask me a lot of technical questions, and I can't answer the technical questions because I just get stuck in, switch the computer on, And often I can make a complete track in about 15 minutes and then move on to the next one. So always about the end result is my best advice. And don't worry about not knowing what a certain button does. Press it and find out. So that's my best advice. The other thing, it's quite interesting. It's a very interesting question you've asked me about building a fan base, because I'm in an electronic open mic club with other people, you know, who create music. And they ask me all the time how to build the followers, how to create, you know, a bigger following. And the best advice is to be completely authentic. Just be yourself. Don't worry about putting your best, you know, suit on, or, you know, or your best jacket on. Just get the video camera out and start recording. And also be very kind to your followers as well. I try to answer every single question. I try to get back to people. If people ask me a question about how to do this, I will tell them. But the thing is to stick with it as well, because, you know, 2 years ago, I had 500 followers on Instagram. I've now got 203,000. But the other thing that you can do to build your followers is also duplicate what you do. So I'm on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Threads, Blue Sky. And all I do is I recreate what I do on one channel across every channel. So on YouTube, I have 250,000 followers. And all I've done on YouTube is just copy it over. So it's not cheating. It's just, you know, just duplicate what you do, get it on every single social media platform, including TikTok. And you'll reach different levels of people. You'll reach different types of people. Some people may only have a TikTok account. So be authentic. And the day my video hit 3.3 million was I had a computer screen. I didn't stage anything. I just switched it on and pressed record, and I had my camera on. So there was no planning. You know, I just did it, and I thought I'll just do a few more videos. And then I was out that night with my friends, and they said, something's happened to your Instagram. Somebody hacked your Instagram. And I said, why do you say that? He says, because you've got 2,000 likes on your video. And no, I haven't. I looked and I had 2,000 likes. And the next day I woke up, I had 7,000 likes. So it all snowballed. I didn't even, I wasn't even paying attention. I was just like, I just put it on, I put my phone down. So be authentic, you know, be completely original. And I find that my videos do well when I don't try and do something really gimmicky. I really like the teddy bear. I had a teddy bear in the video, which I still have a teddy bear. But that teddy bear was in the video by the fact I moved the teddy bear out of the way of the camera, and instead it put it in the way of the camera. So that's how the teddy bear came into the videos, was it was a pure mistake. So mistakes work well, be authentic, and have a good time as well. Enjoy yourself.
Yes,
Sorry.
I love that teddy bear. It's it's really nice, really original.
Give me 1 second.
Yes.
It's going to come and say hello. It's going to come and say
Okay.
hello. So hopefully there.
Oh, there he is. Hi.
Right. So this is a rescue bird.
So cute.
A rescue bird from a skiff that somebody had thrown away. So Bert is a rescue teddy, and he still appears in them. He still appears in them, but not as often, because sometimes I just forget to put him in. So I'm just going to put him back now because he's a bit tired. So there we go. So so a lot of it can be mistakes, and be authentic. There is something I have learned that really makes a big difference. And I only learned this new technique about a week ago, so I'm happy to share it with you. I didn't realize that collaborations were so powerful. So I collaborate with a lot of my people in the electronic open mic group, and my video views have gone up, but their videos have gone from 10 to 20,000. So if you create a video on Instagram, try and find someone to collaborate with, because it'll definitely benefit you a long time. The algorithm will love you. So if you're not sure what to do some collaborations, because in a collaboration, it shares to your followers and to their followers. So do it, even if you're not sure, just do it, and it'll hopefully build your platform for you.
Thank you. And do you recommend the artists to have a manager in the beginning of the career, having someone to guide them, or you, for example, you started all by yourself? What, from your experience so far, what do you recommend? What's your suggestion?
Well, I certainly started off by I actually studied YouTube for hours and hours, and I looked at what people were
Mhm.
doing and how they were creating. I would definitely not
Mhm.
recommend a manager
No.
because you'll probably find a manager eventually who has the same mindset as you and can work well with you. But I mean, I've been approached by a lot of different managers to work with them, and to work with them and to build my career and do this.
Mhm.
And a lot of times they know exactly what works, but they can take away your creativity. So I like to be in charge of my whole creativity.
Mhm.
So keep control of everything you can. I was talking to a band the other day, and they had a manager, and that manager gave them some very good advice, but that manager gave them some bad advice as well. Because the manager knows what works, but it doesn't really know you. It doesn't really know what you're doing, and they don't often understand why you've built up your followers and network. So I would say you will definitely find a manager who's right for you, and you might find it ends up being somebody who's not even in the music industry. But a lot of the approaches I get from people, I turn them down and polite. But there's some people who can progress your career just by working with them. So
Mhm.
one of the things that I'd say to you is if you're going to play live, I've started to play live this year, and there's a lot of people that manage festivals and sets, and they'll be very very supportive of you rather than have somebody who's a business manager. So I'd say carry on as long as you can on your own,
Mhm.
and just enjoy the journey because social media gives you so much power. Because people look to you on social media and they see you on there. And if you release if I release a record now, it just tends to do quite well on a track because of social media. So you don't necessarily need somebody to guide you. Talk to other people like myself. Talk to other people that are doing it. The best people will give you advice for free and help you. In my
Mhm.
mind,
Yes.
so
Mhm.
they'll
And
help you progress.
network.
Yeah, and it worked. Yeah,
Yes.
it's great. Hopefully it will work well. So,
Mhm.
and one of the things that I've enjoyed recently is obviously meeting you, Patricia, but obviously being on your forums. They're absolutely amazing,
Mhm. Oh,
and
thank you.
and I read them. I don't, I can't read everything, but I read them, and it's just great what you're doing. And
Oh, thank you.
the industry needs more people like you because you're helping people develop. And you're helping to guide people. I think that's great. So more people like you for people like me is fine. So
Oh, thank you so much. And I'm your big fan. I love what you do. And that's why I asked for your advice for artists because you have so much knowledge and experience in what you're doing. And you're doing such a great job with your building uh, your music more and more.
yeah.
And another question, how long do you take to produce a track?
Well, it's a very good question, Patricia, because sometimes I get very carried away producing a track,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes it can be complete in
Mm-hmm.
about 15 minutes because you get so excited, you get so emotional, and your mind starts to make the connections. So if I start off with a bass sound, I'll drop a drum in, and then I'll drop a hi hat in, and then my mind starts to race away, and then I suddenly start to add a melody in. So it can happen very quickly. The best tracks are created very quickly, within almost a few hours. But within 15 minutes, I tend to have the formula ready, and I tend to understand it. And then uh,
Mm-hmm.
I don't often make a track over 2 or 3 days. I try, you can make a track. Some people take 2 or 3 days. Some people take 2 or 3 weeks. But I think the best one is just get stuck into it, enjoy it. Don't worry about what you're doing. And I'll try and do a track. Sometimes I can create 7 tracks in a week, but it depends, on how emotionally attached to the track you are. But I do have a formula for creating music, and I've shared that formula quite a bit. How I start is with, a bass sound. I put a delay on the bass. I put a drum on there. I put a hi-hat on sound, and it begins to take off, because you've dropped some sounds on there, they sound reasonably okay, and I just get on with it. So the other week I was at a music shop in Preston, and to play live to people in the shop and to customers. And when I finished, the owners of the business said to me, "Oh, can you create a track live?" And it completely stunned me because I never thought they'd ask me to show people how to make music. And it was absolutely brilliant because I did it in about 5 minutes live, and they loved it. So it was a shock to my system, but emotionally, I just got on with it, and it was all being videoed. It's going to be on the internet soon, the actual track or the actual music I created. But it was a fantastic experience. I think it's probably because the adrenaline was running so much. So it was a great experience. But the main thing is, if it takes you a day, it takes you a day. If it takes you 3 weeks. But I like to complete it because I like to get onto the next track as soon as I can. I like to do a track, right? Let's do another track. So.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
It can vary, but it's good. So.
Yes. And it would be the last question, but it's just for you to feel free to share anything you would like about music, about your career, your life. Well, it's a free topic now.
Oh, well, that's fantastic because one thing that I've discovered is there's a lot of people my age who are afraid to start making music. They feel they're too old. And hopefully on my journey, I'm inspiring people to start when they're 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. I was in a shopping centre the other day, and a guy came up to me and said he'd stopped playing his vinyl music because he thought he was too old. But when he saw me on the internet, he decided to play his vinyl music again. So I thought that was great. And what I would say, it's never too old to start making music. And it's not complicated. The other bit of advice I'd like to give people is do what I did. I joined a local electronic open mic club where people go in and play music, in a pub, and you learn from each other. And it's a great forum and a great meeting place to meet other people. And, I'm probably the oldest in the group, but there's people near my age in the group. We meet every month and we play in a pub or we play in a bar. And it's a fantastic experience because there's no pressure. We're all friends. But you learn so much from other people. So try and join an open mic venue. They're all over the world. You can if you just Google EOM, electronic open mic, you'll actually have a great time. Or electronic, I'm in a group called Electronic North, which meets in Wakefield, and we also meet in Leeds. And we have people joining us all the time who want to learn how to make music, how to start doing what I did. So, don't be on your own. Join a group, it's free, and enjoy yourself. But it's never too late.